Okay, we let these dry overnight, and as you can see, they turned out really well. I might throw a matte finish on them just to seal. I don't know yet. But over here, we have the the two long walls in 4 pieces. Still got to mortar those, and we're going to do that now live. Well, not live, but in video. Okay, here we are. We are going to use some vinyl spackle. Ta-da. And we're going to actually grout the grout lines. And we're just going to do it by hand. We also have my little helper right here. The lovely Wesley the Crusher. Yes. But anyway, spreading this out. Get into the seams. Just add it as you need it. Take a toothpick, clean the excess out of the corners. Then once it has a chance to dry a little bit, just rub off the excess. Get it nice and smooth. Don't let it get too dry before you do this. And if you miss a spot, no worries, you can go back over it. Just like so. And that's what you do. I'm not going to show you how to do it on all 4 pieces because that'd be an entire hour video in itself. So we'll come back once we did all 4 pieces. Hi, welcome back to Moose's Workshop. We're on Roundhouse Build Part 2. You know, there's other little videos here and there. As you can see, we've been busy doing windows and walls. Today we are going to show you how to install these front top windows. We got one left on this part, except for the two that go for the very end walls. We've been putting the back wall together. Those are not glued in yet. They're just sitting there for looks. I'll show you how we put those together. So be sure and stay tuned. We're going to have video and pictures together back and forth. So get ready. Okay, let's move these out of the way and glue in the next section. I use this little extra piece of cork track to apply pressure to the frame with the cans, because the cans can only get so flush because of a little ridge right here. Okay, let's grab the glue. We're just using some Revel. And I don't know if you can see this, but let me turn on the overhead light. Get some better lighting. There we go. Now I can see what's going on. Okay. Put some down the strip here. Kind of hard to do reaching out so far over a camera. And then on this side, put just a little dab. Okay, I'm gonna do this closer to myself. Showed you one side. Okay, and we butt it up to the previous one, because we know that's perfectly centered. There's little notches, I don't know if you can see. Okay, push it over, make sure it's touching, and check this. Make sure that's right in the middle, because it has a little taper like this. But you can see that the top is a little pushed the wrong way, so what we're going to do, first we're going to put this on the inside. Put a little piece of foam. That way it pushes against there nicely. Not too much, otherwise you bow it. We don't want a David Bowie. And take the other can with a little piece of foam. And we just put enough pressure till that line looks pretty darn even. And that looks pretty darn even. Make sure it's got enough pressure up there. Looks like it could use a hair more. Make sure it's sitting down flush. Okay, and that's it. See? Ho, ho, ho. And I just let that dry for at least an hour before I do anything else. On to the next thing. Okay, for the next thing, we're gonna clean up all our mortar work. And that's dry. Using a very dull X-Acto knife with the tip kind of broken off so I don't dig into anything. So it's good to save some of your X-Acto knives that you've used. Okay, and we just start cleaning up. Just gently scrape so you don't dig into your paint. I'm only going to show you on just this one, because if I showed you on all of them, it'd be about an 8-hour video. Just for this part. But just showing you how I scrape it. On the back side here, make sure you just scrape it since you ain't going to see it. But you want all the parts to mate properly. And then you just lightly scrape just till you get the actual spackle off and you don't beat the paint off. Just gotta take your time. And this is going to be the hardest part. You don't want to peel this gray paint off as much as possible. The less touch-up you do later, the better. Put it so you can see what I'm doing. I'm using the back side of the X-Acto, otherwise I'll scrape up that paint. Now, this corner, yeah, I use the blade. Just get a nice clean corner, if you can see. Ta-da! And you just keep going around and doing all that. Then on the opposite pieces, you want to make sure that where the windows get glued in, all that's cleaned out as well. There's no paint on this side either, because you want a good glue joint. And just clean them up, and I'll clean those up and then I'll show you how to do the windows next. Okay, give that a little bit of time to dry. Now we grab our glue, which I left way over here. The other thing. And we're going to add a strip down here and then in the 4 little holes there. First we do the strip. I like to put a little extra because it's going to squeeze out, but just a little drop in each little hole. I don't put any around the outside of the frame, and you'll see why after a little bit. Make sure that your gray areas, oh sure I get some stuff in there, are towards you, so the walls are not upside down to each other. Place one pin together, and another, and it should just all fall together. Boop, just like that. Now first I put a big clamp down here, as close to the sill as possible without scratching it. Same the middle, about halfway, and that should clamp it just enough. Then I put one of these in each little corner to let those dry. Try to stay out of the way of the camera. Don't clamp right on that gray part, you'll probably scratch the paint. And that's what we do there. See, this is the outside of the wall. It has the extra little gray area. The windows are facing out that way. Because then on this side later, I will glue in the actual plastic glass. And that'll be on the inside. Got to clean that up. And you just let that set aside and dry for a while. Okay, you're looking at the back of the roundhouse, and here's a completed wall section. I'm just doing a dry fit right now. As you can see, more of that stuff stuck to it after I set it back down. And if you look, the gray side that has the gray bottom, that ledge goes towards the outside. And then you can see there's a actual ledge, and that goes this way. So it actually holds on there. It's kind of like a rabbit joint. And then when you do glue it, you glue it there, make sure it's perfectly in between the two beams, and butt it up to the previous piece so there's no gaps. And that's how it gets glued in. And it looks pretty cool. But we still have to put the actual glass in, which we're gonna do later. But for now, this is what it looks like. And watch it fall. Here's the view from the top. It just goes up like so. And glued in. Now, before we glue these walls in, we still have to put the back sides in of the top transom, I think it's called. And they will go in there like so. So our next thing is going to be to glue these in just like we did the front ones. As you can see, it's actually starting to look like a roundhouse. With the construction equipment, you can really see how huge in scale this roundhouse is, especially to all the other models. Also here, we're going to show you what it looks like lit up again. Okay, we got our 3 volts going. And now you can see the lights. These little things are the backside for the front doors to keep the hinges in. I just have them in there so I don't lose them since they're so small. As you can see, all lit up. A little shaky here. It'll be cool when all 12 bays are lit up. And then we'll have ceiling lights and a couple other little things. So be sure to stay tuned for part 3. Be sure to visit our website. Please subscribe, leave a comment, like the video. Help people find out about us. Have a great day.